15 days away from the start of training camp. Can hardly contain myself, and it's almost the season of betting. Landry Locker, Cody Stutes with you. Shout out to Bobtac for sponsoring this video. We'll tell you about them a little bit later on. But Cody, let's talk bets. Let's talk Texans. Let's talk gambles. Let's talk whatever the hell you want to talk about as training camp approaches. 2+ more weeks.
Oh, whatever I want to talk about? Well, then we'll talk about food and movies, and Superman comes out this week.
You're probably going to wait in line in a Superman outfit to see that, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm going to do the throwback one with the underwear on the outside, so everybody can see my my little Superman. Okay. Landry, outside the offensive line, because we know that's the biggest gamble this organization's taken this year. They were bad last year. They're piecing it together with a bunch of, unprovens and cast-offs from other situations. That's obviously the biggest gamble they're taking. But what's the biggest gamble outside of the offensive line that the Texans have made this offseason?
I would say Christian Kirk as the number 2 receiver. Now, they did kind of hedge their bet a little bit with what they did in the draft. But as far as the initial gamble, I would say a guy who's missed a large amount of games in the last couple of seasons, 14, I think, to be exact. Counting on him to be CJ Stroud's number 2 guy, I thought was a big bet. But we do like a good hedge. And they did hedge it in the draft, but I would say that was probably the biggest gamble.
It's their ability to find I understand the trade for Diggs, and they probably thought they had the long-term 2 option with Tank Dell, but I do wonder if, maybe there could have been a little bit more investment in that second wide receiver. Now, obviously, it gets sort of taken care of long-term with the draft. But they couldn't have known all that was going to happen. And so their investment, their bet was Christian. And Kirk's been a very productive player when he's been healthy. And it's not like he's got some kind of chronic knee injury or something like that that's kept him off the field. He had 2 freak accidents in back-to-back seasons that kept him off the field. 2 seasons ago, before he got hurt, he was still really productive. And every time he's been healthy, he's been a productive receiver. So it certainly is a big wager, especially if, the body just betrays him and he's hurt. And even if you do have the backups, you're turning to a couple of rookies and Justin Watson if you don't have Christian Kirk.
Yeah, another gamble I would say they made was Jalen Petrie. I know they liked what they saw last year. I know obviously he's kind of a coach's pet. He's one of favorites, but I mean, it's a 1-year sample size. He's kind of a small guy to play near the line of scrimmage that much. We see guys who play near the line of scrimmage that much kind of get banged up. And 1 year in, you see him get hurt and you decide you're going to make him one of the highest paid guys at that position, which I guess the assumption when you do that is that the best is yet to come. I feel like just based on the 3-year sample size of Jalen Petrie, if there is a pattern, and I don't know if there's going to be a pattern, but you remember in elementary school, A, B, like the patterns, we assumed the best was going to come with Petrie in year 2, complete fall off. And then last year they're making that, not only are they making this assumption next year, they're doing so and they're investing a lot of money in it. So I would say it's a little bit of a gamble, much like the Titus Howard contract, to where if you get a small sample size of what somebody's doing, and you automatically make them one of the highest paid guys in that area, I would say that's a gamble, and they're putting they're investing a lot of money in it.
Yeah, Petrie, it's not quite to Titus Howard's level where it keeps you from doing something great down the road, but when you think about the big contracts that are coming up, the commitment financially that they're going to have to make in a couple of different areas, to have that money committed to a specialty position. Now, if that's the way you're going to play defense, that's one thing, but he's still got to get better at that position. He was half a player last year. His coverage wasn't good from that position last year, and you can't pay him that much and have somebody just come in for him on the coverage snaps. Like, he's not that good around the line of scrimmage. So it certainly is an investment that, if it doesn't work out in 26, 27, 28, you have Jalen Petrie on the team, or you have Jalen Petrie's money on the books versus something else you could have done with that money.
Yeah, and the question is, and I can see it in the chat, is, well, what if he goes out there and balls out? You're getting in front of it. I think even if he balls out, this is going to be what the contract was. Like, I don't. It's the same thing with Titus Howard. Like Titus Howard, they made Titus Howard, and I know the cap changes, but they made Titus Howard before he proved it one of the highest paid right tackles in football. And if he went out and had an awesome season, he ended up actually getting hurt, and it's one of the worst contracts they have on the team now. I don't think the value is going to go much more. I can understand that with a guy like Nico Collins, who's kind of established himself as like a top 5 guy when he's on the field with CJ Stroud, and he's that important. And quite frankly, it makes sense for Nico Collins to get out in front of it too, because, you know, he's had problems staying healthy. But I just don't agree with this notion that Jalen Petrie is going to go out there and ball out to the point where we look back at this contract and say, damn, that was an effing bargain. It's hard for me to see that.
Yeah,
Very difficult for me to see that.
I feel like at most, doing the contract early, they saved over the life of the deal $10 million at most. And it's, again, if he replicated it and gotten even better, you'd have been happy to pay him the money that he eventually got. So that certainly is a gamble. My gamble that I see as the biggest thing is they gambled that they can figure it out with the scheme on offense versus talent on offense. Now, this applies a little bit to the offensive line, but we've sort of removed that from the conversation. But D'Amico Ryans talked about depth a ton last 2 off seasons ago and this past off season. They talked about depth. And they went out there, and I look at this defense, they've got 7, 8 guys that are all fighting for 4 spots of defensive tackle. Barnett's a solid backup. They added Darrell Taylor. Dylan Horton's getting further away from the injuries that he had. They've got linebackers, again, that can pop up behind Azeez and Henry and Christian Harris. And they had, you know, before Jimmy's issue, they had some safety depth. They still are not lacking in safety depth. We liked Jalen Reed in the draft. He was a late round investment that's got a little bit of potential. MJ Stewart slides into that veteran position. And I bring up all that depth on the defense to say, you're one snap away from Nick Chubb and his questionable health being on the field. You're one snap away from Cade Stover being your top tight end. And I like Cade, and I thought there was some potential there, but he's not ready to be your top tight end. You're a couple of snaps away from 2 rookies starting at wide receiver. It's a precarious spot over on offense. And if the guys stay healthy, like if Mixon and Collins and Kirk and Dalton Schultz, they all stay healthy for the majority of the season, it won't test you as much. But I don't love their depth on offense. Certainly when they're going to be in a situation where every single game, like there's not really a cruise control in this schedule. Every single game matters to them. This isn't, you know, Buffalo where they're easily going to win the division. None of those teams are going to compete with them. And even Buffalo, they got to try to win every one because they want everything to go through Buffalo. So it's like they're very thin after some really impressive starters on offense.
Yeah, I think you can actually make a case, though, that they did improve their depth on the O-line and at receiver. I think you can actually make a case, especially if we judge the receivers post-Tank Dell injury, because that's the reality of the situation, and post-Diggs injury. Like, I think they improved their wide receiver depth, and I think they improved their offensive line depth. So, look, I always talk about this, and since we're using the gambling analogy, it's kind of in place. But, like, you only have a certain amount of chips and a certain amount of money when you go into a casino. So I don't know that it's necessarily a gamble. I just think it's kind of the cards they were dealt and the way they fell when it came to the depth outside of the running back position, which has been kind of a sensitive subject. But we'll see what that looks like. I guess there's at least some intrigue there. But I do think they actually improved their depth at wide receiver and on the offensive line. Which might not be saying much, especially on the O-line. Might not be saying much.
That's the thing is if it was an F before the offseason started, like, yeah, it's the letter grade's a little bit better, but it's still not amazing. And meanwhile, Darrell Taylor's getting $5 million a year. They're keeping Danico Autry. They're paying Tremont Smith $5 million a year. Nick Neiman's getting $4 million a year. And I'm just looking around like and just because they're a name or just because you recognize them doesn't mean they're going to be good. But like, I'd have a little bit more faith if I liked the names behind Joe Mixon a little bit more. If there was just maybe one more veteran I could feel good about from a pass catching standpoint, either at tight end or at wide receiver. They spent a lot of depth on defense, and that may pay off for them because they may have a defense that can sustain a guy missing here and there and just still keep the motor revving and running. But it's a pretty big gamble to be questionable drop-offs behind some of those offensive positions.
HDAV Traveler in the super chat. Hey, yo. Shout out to you, my man. I'm going Scott Hall because I'm stick micing today. As far as the gambles go, it doesn't feel like they gamble very much on defense. It seems like it seems like when it comes to defense, they're going to be they are very, 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 very aggressive when it comes to defense. You could say D-line if you wanted, but again, I think this goes back to you only have so many chips. You only have so many cards to play when it comes to D-line, and I think you can make do. Although they did sign Sheldon Rankins, so I mean it's the defense. It seems like it's very clear if you laid out the last 3 years what the Texans have done roster wise, and you didn't tell me what their coach did, what his background was, anything else, I would say they must have a defensive minded coach because I don't think that they're willing to gamble too much on the defensive side of the ball, which might be able to carry them to the promised land. But it's very clear that they're willing to invest, whether it's an elite prospect like Will Anderson in the draft equity, whether it's Danielle Hunter, making him the highest paid free agent that you've ever brought in, and then giving him the extension early on. Jalen Petrie, just give me 10 games at one position. We'll make you the highest paid guy. Regardless, CJ Gardner-Johnson, we already got Jimmy Ward. Oh, by the way, Jimmy Ward, you're always hurt and you're creeping up on playing a dozen years in the league. Let's give you an extension too. You get an extension. So it might end up working out magically because we both agree that this defense is going to be good. But when you start talking about gambles, you start talking about investments, you start talking about certain amount of chips, it's very clear. Maybe it's just the way the ball is dropped, or maybe it's just some big ass coincidence, but it's very clear they're focused on the defense.
Yeah, it feels like the way that they approach the defense isn't even really like casino gambling. It feels like it's just like smart stock investing. It's like Will Anderson feels like Apple. Danielle Hunter feels like Tesla.
Are you calling Cowherd?
But no, it feels like there's less risk associated with those things.
Wait, you said Danielle Hunter feels like what?
Tesla.
Oh, so you're going to go key him. Real nice of you at training camp. You're going to go key him and spray paint him. Real nice.
I don't try to put your weekend activities on my resume. But it feels like some of the stuff they're doing on offense is like, hey, let's put a 4-team parlay together. It's like if it hits, we're going to be rich. It's like, yeah, those don't really hit that often.
Such a fun feeling, though, when you first get that parlay and you start getting to like imagine how nice it will be if it hits. And then you just get snapped back to reality. So hopefully your parlay analogy does not hold up too much.
How many of us have been 2 legs through and at halftime of the next one started counting our money before seeing it just boo? I mean, that's happened to me plenty.
It is interesting. Brandon asks, who were they supposed to extend on offense? Shaq Mason. I mean, you don't have to hand out extensions. I mean, you can make guys go out there and
I mean,
so I don't know that there's like a certain person they should have extended.
I just think the operation and some of the investment could have been in different free agents, different trades of that nature. I mean, I think an example that I would use is, okay, the Los Angeles Chargers had 1,000-yard rusher, and basically 1,000-yard rusher, J.K. Dobbins last year. They let him walk, got signed Najee Harris in free agency, and then drafted a guy in the first round at running back. It's like they transformed their running back room. The Texans brought back everybody and then signed Nick Chubb 6 weeks ago. Like, they could have done more. But there's 7 extra linebackers on the team, and Frank Ross got a special teams guy that he really wanted back. And it's like, okay, great. You're not going to be able to move the football, and it's going to be good that you have Tremont Smith to cover punts when Joe Mixon gets hurt. So
the special teams investment was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Neiman's here as a special teamer.
The investment in special teams was wild.
And Nick Neiman's here as a special teams guy. Tremont Smith's here as a special teams guy. Braxton Berrios, EJ Speed. You could have taken 2 of those guys and turned them into a better backup running back than Nick Chubb. You could have taken 2 of those guys and added on to what Justin Watson got and got a better, veteran wide receiver.
I don't know. Nico says Justin Watson's one of the most consistent players in the league, my friend.
Yeah, he's consistently good as a 5th receiver. Like,
I don't know if they agree with that in Kansas City.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, as a 5th guy that catches 2 passes a game, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm fine with the defense carrying on. That's the bottom line. Defense got to carry you home, and Nick Caley's got to know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of the moves they make are not safe. Speaking of safe, Bobtac. Shout out to Bobtac. Local businesses. We like dealing with local businesses because they're authentic. They're not BS. And you pay less, you get more. That's what happens with Bobtac. 409-744-8225 or bobtac.com. They got you covered, locally owned and operated. Bobby's been in the business for 45 years, serving Houston and beyond. Safety supplies, PPE, spill control products, trucking, maritime supply. They got the gloves, they got the coveralls, they got the protective clothing, they got everything, all things safety. Even if you just need it individually, if you work in the chemical plants, local trucking, we got a lot of truckers in the chat. 24/7, you can text, you can call, anything. Call them, text them, check out the products, bobtac.com, locally owned and operated right here in H-Town, capable providing all things safety, every single thing, hazmat, spill control, all that. Local businesses, call, text, give them a call, go local, quit this BS, fraudulent stuff that they got going on with the big companies. 24/7 availability, 409-744-8225.
Can't be understated. Free on-site delivery locally, and you work with real people. You're not talking to a chat bot when you text Bobtac or you visit them on the website.
No AI. No AI.
I don't think I've bought into AI. I don't think that's going to be for me. I'm not worried about it. I've never really bought in. Same thing with crypto. I never really bought in on the crypto thing. But you bought in on crypto Christian Harris. We established this the other day.
I think we are AI. Authentic insight. That is what this is. This is authentic insight. That's my version of AI.
I'm writing that down.
Authentic insight. There are some people in the media business that you could easily replace with AI. I am not one of them. It is authentic insight. You cannot think like this. For better or worse, you cannot think like this. And that's the bottom line. Authentic insight. AI is our game here on SNL. I'm all in on Christian Harris. You're calling him crypto. I'm calling him Christian Harris. Christian Harris is a bargain. It is my favorite penny stock. I put him last night. Shout out to everyone in the night stream as we approach camp. I have Christian Harris as my 10th best player on the Houston Texans, given his optimal performance level and given all the reasons why he needs to ball out. This isn't buying something that we haven't seen. We didn't know what crypto was. So your little smart-ass crypto comment, it doesn't fly here because we saw what Christian Harris was 2 years ago. If I would have been saying this last year, you would have bought in. Now, it's a big if he's going to be healthy. But this is not crypto. We saw this. We saw what Christian Harris looked like. We know what D'Amico's specialty is. He didn't even play with Kamari Lassiter and Daniil Hunter, really, extended period of time. We haven't seen that. DeMeco Ryans is pounding the table for Christian Harris, and Christian Harris needs this year. You are the guy who used to just draft guys in fantasy who were in contract years, guys who did much less than Christian Harris. So take that crypto and stick it. Christian Harris, I'm buying the stock. At his best, he is a top 10 impact player on this team.
God, I hope this in the next Tegan Quateriano.
Come on. That's unfair. That's unfair.
All right, so Christian Harris to Landry, undervalued on this roster. Who else is undervalued? I got 4 players that are undervalued on the Houston Texans. First one I want to mention, and it's going to be, this one might have a little bit, I might catch some flack for this one. I know it sucked and it looked bad last year, but Dalton Schultz is still clearly the best tight end on this football team. They're going to need Dalton Schultz to be solid this year.
Yeah, so you're buying Dalton Schultz being better.
I'm buying Dalton Schultz being better.
I would too. I would too.
They put him in a precarious position last year with some of the stuff they asked him to do. The counting stats weren't that far off from some of the seasons that he has had, and it's kind of a contract year for him. So,
not kind of. He's not playing for $11 million next season, I can assure you.
Yeah. So
no matter what the hell he does.
Dalton Schultz is my first one. I wouldn't quite go crypto Harris investment on him.
This is kind of penny stock.
Yeah, this is definitely
penny stock.
This is definitely a company that has seen better days. Okay.
Yes, you're buying penny stock.
The other one, or the next one that I would say is to keep with the stock market analogy. This is modest investment, modest return. Like, you're not getting rich off this, but Derek Barnett is better than people give him credit for. And he is a useful player that they put on the field more than you think they put him on the field. And he just goes out there and gets his job done. And
okay,
Derek Barnett is an undervalued player on this team.
I like him fine. I think he's appropriately valued. I think everybody agrees with, I think if you asked 90% of the SNL community, 90% of the locker room, Houston football, they would all say the exact same thing you just said about Derek Barnett. You didn't say anything crazy.
He's the first guy that comes off the bench when Will and Daniil take a seat.
We all know that. He's good. He's fine. He's not undervalued.
He's undervalued. He could start on some teams.
Hell out of here.
He could start on some teams. Azeez Al-Shire is undervalued. I know we have the memory of him trying to catch up to Travis Kelce and getting shook out of his jockstrap in the playoffs, but they're a better defense when he's healthy on the field and able to be the DeMeco Ryans extension on the field. I know.
You think his upside's higher than Christian Harris's? When Christian, with what we saw from Christian Harris on the back end of 2 years ago, you think that upside's higher?
Yes.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I don't.
Do you think the best version of Christian Harris is better than the best version of Azeez?
I do. I've seen it.
I don't think Christian Harris could go to another. I don't think Christian Harris could go to a bad football team and be 5th in the NFL in tackles.
What do you mean? Neville Hewitt did it with the Jets before he came to the Texans. Neville Hewitt did it.
I don't think Christian Harris could do that.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, he probably wouldn't play 17 games. So yes, I get that. You got to play all the games to be at the top in tackles. So yes.
Yeah. 17. Let's worry about showing up for training camp before we start talking about playing 17.
I get it.
Okay. And when we do show up, let's worry about getting through more than a quarter of a practice. Okay.
I get it.
My criticism of Christian Harris is it's not coming out of nowhere.
I get it.
It's not coming out of nowhere. And my last one's going to be MJ Stewart. They're going to put him on the field more than you think they are. I really do. I really think they're going to put him on the field more than you think they're going to put him on the field. And they did the same thing with Eric Murray last year when they were mixing and matching and playing around with stuff. And I think they're going to put MJ Stewart on the field more than you think they're going to put him on the field.
Okay. I think they overvalue him. I think this is two different conversations. I think you're saying that maybe we're sleeping on how much he's going to play, but I think they overvalue him. I think it's very Dare Gumbawale. Like, I like MJ Stewart, fine, but I don't sit here and think, oh, this guy's underrated. I mean, his value. I mean, they got to, depending on what happens with Jimmy Ward. I think Jimmy Ward's undervalued before everything happened, but I think
that would have been the guy, but I don't think he's going to be on the team.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Stay tuned.
I mean, every day that it gets closer to training camp is a day that
he could be out there stretching.
He could be out there on the team.
Be out there stretching, man.
And the NFL, I mean, hadn't put him on any list, so they could practice him and play him until something happens if they want to.
Luke has a good point. MJ is the Dare of the defense. Luke has a good point.
I mean, 2 years ago, we watched a second-year safety struggle mightily and then get his ass sat on the bench. Like, that could happen to Kalen Bullock, and all of a sudden MJ Stewart's on the field a bunch.
Could happen. Could happen. Texans Tangents ask a good question. I don't know if he's asking if Cody Stutes is performing a straw man, but he asks, who is the entity doing the overvalue, and is it the media, the coaches, or the fans? I think it's a combination of all, depending on which player you're talking about.
The lack of discussion and interest of hearing of that player from my colleagues and the people that consume the content.
Patrick has analogies. He's in the analogy game. He says Dalton Schultz is Coles. Coles, you can get some Coles cash. I haven't been to go Coles in a while. You can get some Coles cash. Aziz is Raytheon. Derek Barnett and MJ Stewart are some random utility stocks.
Random utilities like the railroad and Monopoly.
Yes.
I'm over here telling people to invest in the purple Monopoly properties. It's like Baltic Avenue. Get it. It's great.
Yeah.
Great.
See how that goes. See how that thing goes.
Speaking of investments, Landry, if you had to make one bet on the Texans this season, what would you bet?
I would take the over in CJ Stroud touchdown passes.
Ooh.
I'd take the over in CJ Stroud touchdown passes. I think they're going to be a little bit more efficient. I think last year was kind of high. I would take the over on CJ Stroud touchdown passes. Maybe not yards, passes.
Ooh. That's pretty good. I didn't think about that. I think
last I saw it, I think it was in the low to mid 20s.
21.5.
Yeah, that's very, very, I mean, I
might have to go to Louisiana.
Yeah, 21.5 is really low. I think last year was like 28, 29 or something because people were a little bit higher, but 22 touchdown passes, I just think that's a good bet. So that would be my bet, CJ Stroud over touchdown passes. Okay, so you're getting, pretty normal odds, close to even at some places. I think I could see it as an over. That's pretty good.
That feels, 22 feels like a lock.
It does. It does.
Especially if Joe Mixon got dinged up, they'd be throwing even more. Wow, I didn't realize it was that low. That's a better bet than what I was going to say. I was going to bet on Nico to lead the league in receiving yards.
Yikes. What's the value there?
10-1.
Yeah, that's good odds. Yeah, take that. It's good. That's a good bet. It's a good bet.
10-1.
Yeah, put 20 on it. 200.
Yeah, that's
more of an even money, minus 110. So you're paying 110 to get back 210 or 100 in profit. So yeah, I would say that. I have a Derek Stingley defensive player of the year bet, which is
it's like 40-1 or 50-1 right now.
10 to win 500.
Yeah, wow, that's good too.
Yeah, 10 to win 500. We saw a corner win it last year.
Yeah, why not go back to back?
So, maybe he's going to be on TV. So I would say you could do a lot worse than Derek Stingley defensive player of the year.
I'd sprinkle on him and Will just for, him and Will, and then Nico for most receiving yards. And I was surprised to see, obviously Jamar Chase is ahead of him and Justin Jefferson's ahead of him in the odds, but that's it. Those are the only two guys ahead of him.
He has McCarthy throwing to him. I know we can talk about CJ and then Chase, man, like they still got they still got Higgins, and it's a lot. I wouldn't.
Surely their defense is like a little bit better, so they have to throw a little bit less, right?
I mean, if their defense doesn't get better, then my God.
This should be Jamar Chase again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nico, same odds as Malik Neighbors and CeeDee Lamb.
Have you watched quarterback yet?
I have not. I saw a couple snippets. Saw Burrow talking about getting his house broken into, and I saw Burrow getting mad after they won.
Yeah, I got a video dropping at 6, like kind of where CJ sits between the three guys, Cousins, Burrow, and Goff. I think it's an interesting discussion. It's just a small video. We might talk about it a little bit more on the stream, but if you want to check that out on the Locker Room channel, check that out. It's one of the best things they do. I'm gonna dive into it probably after the show. Check it out if the daughter's ready to take a nap. She's kind of being a little bit feisty today, not really in the mood for a nap, so she just posted up watching TV right now, doing her thing.
I mean, she'd like quarterback. She'd watch that with you, right?
No, she'd be bored.
Just, what does she like to watch? She like Bluey or something?
Peppa Pig, Bluey, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, anything like that.
Peppa Pig, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. They still do that?
Come on, they don't change. They don't change kids' brands.
Throw some
bread.
Throw some Bugs Bunny on for her. See if she likes that.
Bugs Bunny was always a little meh. Tiny Toons was better.
Oh, Tiny Toons crushed.
All right. So you asked this question about a sandwich.
Yeah. So I saw on Twitter today, one of the golf guys that I follow for golf stuff. He's like, "Oh, I have a sandwich named after me, by the way." And he like put up, and it was a burger with blue cheese. And I was like, cool. Like, it's cool that the sandwich is named after you, but like, that was it. That was all you put on it. And then I got to wondering what would be on a Landry Locker sandwich. Some restaurant gets you name a sandwich after yourself. What's on that sandwich?
It would be a super club. It would be like turkey, ham, roast beef, lettuce, tomatoes, mayonnaise, and mustard, and probably a sprinkle of hot sauce with some pickles. That would be mine. Like just a power club, dude.
No bacon?
Nah. We can do without the bacon. I know you're a big bacon guy. You can add bacon if you want. It's gonna be an extra like 125. But we keep the bacon off. Yeah, that's how we're going. There's the turkey, the ham, roast beef, pickles, tomatoes, onions.
No cheese?
You can add cheese, man. We don't need cheese.
The hell is this? You're just walking into Jersey Mike's, just, hey, slice me 4 meats and just slam it into my hand.
Yes. Yes. Shout out to Jersey Mike's. They do their thing. Lovely place, by the way.
What kind of bread?
Wheat.
They're gonna have to take this shit off the menu.
Wheat. You can add the cheese if you like.
This is gonna be looking at the POS at the end of the day. All right, how many? Yeah, we sold 48 burgers. Yeah, how many lockers did we sell? 2. Oh, Landry got 2 to go. Oh, okay. All right, take that shit off the menu.
It might not last long. Sometimes that ish happen. I was thinking about this the other day. I actually tweeted it. Speaking of like food, isn't it kind of crazy how sometimes when the faces of the brands disappear, that the brand kind of falls off? Like when Dave died in 2002, Wendy's died. Like they haven't been the same since. Hadn't been the same. Tell me anyone. You remember Wendy's Texas Doubles, best 99-cent menu in the game. They had the nuggets. The quality was better. Everything was better. They had the best salad bar leading up to 2002. Gone. Just completely gone when Dave died. Done. I know that he probably deserved to get canceled. Papa John's hadn't been the same since they canceled Papa John. I'm sorry. It ain't the same. It ain't the same of the pizza chains. It's a distant number 3. I've noticed that. Your spirit animal, Jared from Subway, Jared went away, the other, it's almost like the other sub places just pounced And all of a sudden, like the options for subs increased. The $5 foot long was dead. And Subway just kind of drifted away when your spirit animal went away.
So I'm testing your theory here by looking something up.
And I haven't bought a Dos Equis since they got rid of the most interesting man. I have not bought a Dos Equis since they got rid of.
He is the most interesting man in the world.
Haven't bought one.
Burger King, when they stopped doing the creepy king, kind of
what happened to him?
Kind of slipped a little bit.
I feel like Burger King's kind of underrated. If we're talking about, I feel like people kind of just crap on it without even thinking about it.
You know what? I'm testing this. This is a big test of the theory here. It does feel about like 10, maybe 15, but maybe about 10 years ago, Taco Bell sort of slipped a little bit. The prices started getting too high. The creativity got a little weird.
They're back.
Glenn Bell died 2010.
But they're back now.
Oh, they had the bounce back? They're back?
They're back. They're back strong. You can customize at Taco Bell now, brother. You can customize. You can replace the Taco Supreme with steak. You can replace it with chicken. You can get a chicken Mexican pizza if you want. Like they have stepped it up at Taco Bell. Taco Bell's back, bro.
All right, well.
But Wendy's
they're serving chicken nuggets and chicken strips at Taco Bell, man.
That's a mistake.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Yeah. All right.
That's a mistake.
All right.
But the faces of brands, it happens, man. It happens.
Faces of brands. Yeah. That's why Arby's never had a face. They just keep going.
I don't know what's going on with them. So you were asking people this and they seem to get excited about it. And I am an equal opportunity host. So you're seeing Superman on opening day?
No, I'll probably go see either sometime this weekend or early next week.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. You don't like superhero movies? Lots of people do.
Yeah, no, it'll be great, man. I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
I got the little app. I get a free small popcorn, which is plenty. Give me a large drink, free refills. Good to go.
All right.
You see this new thing that you're a popcorn guy, but you wouldn't do this. They've created like collectible popcorn buckets for like these various movies that come out.
Yeah, I've seen it. They've had that for a while. They've had that.
And
for decades.
they're like, there's like a whole secondary market. Like people buy them and then like resell
Star Wars nerds and stuff.
Well, it's just like, I feel like every movie has them now. Like Jurassic Park has them. Superman's going to have one. That weird robot horror movie thing had one. Like everybody's got a specialty popcorn bucket now. If everyone gets one, they're not specialty.
Yeah, it's kind of what happened when the Astros started giving out replica World Series rings once every 2 games.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like
right, come back Tuesday and you'll get a
dude, they did it every day.
You'll get a Francisco Liriano ring.
I'm all about the movies, man. You can't duplicate it, can't replace it. It is nice to stream. It is nice to be able to watch, but like the movies experience is just, I don't think it goes away.
Have you ever been to one of those Cosme places?
What, like where they come and take your order?
No. I think they only have them in New York, LA, and Dallas right now. But it's like, it's a giant, like,
with fans,
floor to ceiling screen, and it's like you're sitting in the stands.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I kind of want to just chill.
I don't know why movie theaters don't just put college football games on Saturday afternoon.
I don't know. It's kind of a weird environment to sit in, if we're being honest.
If you were with some like-minded individuals, it wouldn't be weird.
Nah, I mean, wouldn't you rather just watch it at the crib or at the bar?
All right.
One of my pet peeves in life, and this really pisses me off, actually. I think it's like, it's so stupid, and it's so me that I get annoyed by it, but it annoys the living crap out of me that at the places where there are people who come and take your order at the movie theater, they still have the message on the screen in the previews to stay off your cell phone. This dude's carrying around a damn like iPad, taking my order in the middle of the movie, and you're sitting there telling people to get mad at me if I whip out my cell phone. That's a joke. That doesn't make any sense. And it's just telling people to get mad at something when Susan, if I push this button, is going to come over with a whole iPad and ask me what I want to eat. What are we doing?
Yeah, but you entered into that agreement going to that establishment that Susan was going to walk around with her iPad. I didn't enter into the agreement that you're going to sit there and tweet during the movie.
Okay, it doesn't matter. It's about being distracted. It's the same level of distraction, except it's not even near as high of a distraction. I don't get it. It makes no sense.
A mutual friend of ours prefers the eat in the theater restaurants or eat in the theaters.
Yeah, just give me a cup of popcorn and let's go.
Yeah. The next time I see an attendant after I walk in should be when I'm walking out.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. Anyway, on that note, we are 15 days away from training camp. What a time to be alive. Business is about to pick up like a mofo. Tell us what you think the Texans' biggest gambles were. If you need safety equipment, go to Bobtac. And if you're talking about gambles and Cody Stutes is going to list Texans, it really might not be that big of gambles. Might be pretty popular opinions. See Derek Barnett.
Undervalues. Okay, sir.
Subscribe, like, ride along. Always remember when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.